Hi, the recording started.
Okay, that's the speech drop. Just the last three letters are capital. Put the ones. Let me know when I'm done with it.
I'm good.
Oh, the Z did. Awesome. Advantage one is sustainable development goals to right housing solves for SDGs versus global action, process on national action, homelessness, heat, pandemic, Usually don't SDGs and having SDGs and other policies beyond launch of global moving stage, experiences around the action, SDG and non-national any homeless requires affordable housing activities to demonstrate relevance SDG and use for scalable solutions, growth stage back action, defend partners, national commitment, issue SDG, create margins, stars, government, accountability, solution from hunger, poverty, percent democracy, cognitive idea of some learning, leverage, and eco progress on the world. The U.S. spearheads global efforts, cities are labs, but it requires the right face of approach to make data sharing and foreign aid effective. Group to 20. Look at research in partnership with the universities, capital, connect analysis, initiative, eco SDG, affect U.S. cities, spearheading efforts, U.S. society, and equality programs, insight in the global progress, unity for American action, advancing SDG, as well as must be naturalized, SDG, investment dollars, right to sustainability for development, U.S. media policy, attacking inequality. The right to housing is the missing piece, access towards research and analysis over indicators that spills over into broader beneficial in Code 21. Housing is central for TVSCG, affordable housing, rehabilitation, other strategies, hardcore, direction analysis, through targets and indicators, right housing, contribution of lead all SDG, platform, stable, traffic, outcomes of health, education, limited education, and financial stability for sustainable cities. Second is ICER credibly used, currently violates ICER homelessness law directly first because of a lack of a right to housing. Carry 4. Treaty laws, right to housing, best supported ICER article of one private state to recognize right to adequate housing, U.S. boundary state policy, and fee competence rivers, right to housing, fee government support, policy increase homelessness, government seek virtue, they adopt policy that resulting homelessness, U.S. policy undermines right to housing. The U.S. AG and ICER commitments restores credibility. 21. Fears of USA except for ICER, need for dialogue, use for outside path, standards, ICER backside, when right compromise, ICER ability, literally, ESC rights worldwide, as right to ICER, U.S. citizenship, ICER leadership, U.S. model, ESC rights for other members, state ICER enhance ongoing effort. ICER credibility is key to SDGs, turn mode 21. ICER fundamental pillar of SDG, U.S. federal, international countries, populated, post-conflict, SDG, linked directly, ESC rights, right to housing, membership by states, and naval strategy, and full commitment to be encouraged. Achieving SDG stop, SDG failure, which leads to extinction, certain offender 20. Cascade failures are multipliers, setting conflict, U.S. citizens, attention, stability, spread, affecting, global system, risk, looting, stream, weather, disasters, state fraud, trade, water crisis, these writing, sanctuary, humanity, achieving SDG, reduce acceptable risk of global pressure, love report, divide outcomes, scientific, troubles, policy, response, like, serious events, culminating, extinction, plan. The United States ought to guarantee the right to housing, economic right that could hold zoning laws and national deficits. Article 20. Right to survive housing, rights, homelessness, being domestic, progressive, civilization, obligation, handle, various localities, bound, national, state, community, economic, respect, HR, will solving, housing costs result in substance supply necessary to get on personal, bloodshed, making, potential affordable time, using, and solution, increase supply, welcome solution, to do the reverse, rejected, and quality, increase supply, that's not a solution to affordability. Right to removing zoning, 6 HR 22. Right after the history, cost of fast and close, housing, supply, animals, from land, the interest rate, growth, wages, backlash, elimination, making affordable, master, financial, service, and incentive, marshal, resources, community works, powerful, enforcing protections. The standard is minimizing the risk of human extinction. We get 1 air 3 and it has to be dropped to beta nor as a competing end terms. The 1 air is 2 times fewer for anything else, and anything else makes being after possible. Extinction outweighs moral uncertainty and future valid. Number 15. Moral disagreements are deep and unresolvable. One thing to agree on is exactly possible future people to see ministerial level and consequences is a huge mistake. Not consequential is the view that there's more that determines rightness than consequences, not that the latter don't matter. When one is asserted by moral fact, even if we are only 1% sure well-being matters, so you see acceptable risk is most important. Advantage choose affordability. Prices are getting worse in Guardian 18. Has the grapple of the affordability crash of mortgage rates left says or prices on affordability plummeting last year. In 1984, latest by merely concerns about inflation hitting every high school state. So a risk factor. High prices spill over, locking slow goods since it was the root cause market 23. Home buyers on the risk propagating inflation ban up is all happening here. States beneficial state. Not the cost of imported party surge in home prices, low profits market. Bottom value recon posted upstairs. The key drivers are Georgia's supply saves and previous home final climate law. Today still setting people find necessity by super high demand. That looks it's slow good. Lobby 23. After that, American look over housing season more shortage rural areas and quality. Quantity slow good high cost prices and much inability of managers but watch the long term inability workers moving trying to keep housing prices will turn renters on those biggest strain financial disparities. Restriction cost trillions on credit studying are the biggest internal link in on-prem massive gains in productivity, wages, and innovation, which reverse slow good by 2021. So the financial stability and quality contributions alliance one thing makes all the systems housing work become because they're location. That's why people live base most of the expensive people spend on buying less on other things following any worse housing situation. High productivity areas, people are so hard to work and this is high leaving themselves out. Well actually says studying time and working could be done by other speakers, better productivity, worker rights, doubling a city as single cities are spread. But living costs of regulation, the American life density, device of all the work cost of living top debt. Superstars getting 3 cities, Lucid, Rose, Melons, Winter, Ross, best use of culture, Econ 9% higher production, can get for use of $60,000 for you. That's so much use. Contract in second word, running out of fast labor, low lightning fixed, comment, they're both being hosted with tax harvest in year 10 city, 270 pence, like patents, for 600,000 pages, there's better for high density ventures, we do closer to large increase of housing, supply, man, housing services doesn't happen. When developers act homes go through critical line doors, housing not comes to winter rooms, wealth inequality. Skill check for rents, land typical as a cascading to the station, it's tried out, poverty team. Bodies first like really threatened content was with independent supply station for higher land use, we don't have to reach the residents, allow the conservation right detail, information around regulars, and biodiversity tech, like heroes, outline checking data, analyzing data, tech available for and that's adaptive capacity, reduce climate control, water use system protection, AI resources unavoidable only in American advantage in terms of nuclear war, the British powers 2021. Percent years old avoiding conflict, rehabilitation, terrorism, which is ability, ideals, sophisticated ability, and advantage, worse sensibility, kind of Russia, prevention, employee, tech, dangerous ability, price, advantage, leading conflict, escalations, local goods, nuclear, rights, interdependence, multiplication, LIU, and figures, nationals, Oppenheimer 21. Local element, local order, difficult, plotters, polaris, buffers, and by column, income, tax, income, tax, you're going to enable war, income, tax, regression, income, tax, interdependence, no longer back to house, back, curiosity, I was one where healing, drug changes, about heights, escalation, wars, and multiple ways, based on exact every transition, access, supervisors, the challenge, and for you can show around the audience, and you can sign new states, so we need doctor, public communication, these things, give message, thanks for not saying actors, here's for distribution of power, for American GDP, most of metro, predictive power, all of the econ, states are trying to apply power, policy, maintain, reckless, on direct caution, here, and plus, economic, American policy, political, and economic leadership, just a half earthly wrong policy, power, national security, research, and cause that we conquer the lower jobless, wage stagnation, cause single action, launch of conflict, instability, process, preemptive, lose weakening, security, consider nationalization, multiple distribution, when states, national, sustainable military confrontation, great powers, and use of nukes, market card, use of nukes. I'll go back, I'll read. The wage increase independence also innovation, counter Project 22. Rich to be labor productivity, wage investigated, separate equality, interaction, virtual cycle, proposal relations, feed, leader, good result, time, innovation, structure, high employment, plot countries, and innovation, outcome, tech competitiveness, innovation, driver, productivity, productivity, starts at a higher wage, leads to quality jobs, innovation, virtual cycle, means econ, higher good process, associated innovation, job, like higher wages, similar productivity, for tax change, for market card productivity, or stimulate productivity.
Cool.
Okay, let me just.
Finger crossed.
Yeah, one second. Yeah.
What cards did you play?
Sure. I skipped the zoning restrictions removal has wide-ranging benefits to the laser card. I skipped Bertolli et al. 18 on the bottom. Let me see. No, nothing else besides that. And then I marked the 2 cards. Did you get those?
Yeah.
Okay.
The only stuff on theory was why aren't theories drop the debater, reasonability,
No, competing inters. And
competing inters,
and no RBIs.
and no RBIs. Okay, don't evaluate the theory debate from layer
No.
or tricks like that.
No, there are no tricks. There's just paradigm issues.
Let's talk about your first advantage.
Yeah.
The U.S. hasn't ratified the ICESR. Why is us promoting a right to housing key for the full credibility?
Sure. So I think the thing is that Davis says that, not Davis. Carrier card indicates that the U.S. did not ratify ICER, but it signed it. There's a difference. Ratification means the U.S. actually adheres to the guidelines, whereas signing it just means that the U.S. kind of falls on it, kind of signals that we're here, but they're not actually doing the clauses.
So we just signed on to it. We haven't ratified it.
Yeah.
Why is a right to housing need we ratify it?
Sure. I think the most the carrier 4 card dictates that the most important part of ICER that is being violated is the quote right to adequate housing. I think the line talks about the treaty has acknowledged right to housing most important is ICER. Article 11 private states recognize the right to adequate housing.
That just seems to be right to housing is part of ICER. Where does it say that's the only thing that matters for ICER?
I think the carrier 4 card indicates that the most important violation of ICER that the U.S.
This Carrio 4 is literally 20 years ago. Why is 20 years ago?
We still haven't implemented a right to housing yet.
Yeah, I know. So why haven't ICER credibility just been destroyed in the past 20 years.
Well, yeah, we're arguing that ICER credibility is destroyed. The only way for us
Okay,
to
so then why are we extinct?
What? Oh, sure, because the Toronto Modu card indicate that right now ICER needs to be revitalized, and this is from 2021, so it's like 2 years ago.
But your uniqueness evidence, Carry 04, was from 20 years ago.
The unique-
ICER
the
says
unique-
if right to housing is the key to all of ICER credibility, and we haven't ratified that part yet, 20 years ago, why haven't in the intervening 20 years we all died yet?
Sure. I think firstly the Toronto Modu card our impact card to all disadvantages SDGs, which indicates that in the future we need to be prepared for every existential crisis through the achievement of SDGs. So the reason why we haven't gone extinct yet is because those intervening threats like cyber attacks haven't
Let's
occurred
talk
yet.
about your affordability advantage.
Mhm.
Do you decrease, you say high prices spill over, prices are soaring, do you decrease house prices?
Yeah, I think the Marche card.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you only do zoning reform?
Yes, that's what Segal and HLR indicate that the normal means for the plan would be.
Where do they say that the only, but do you defend the plan text? Like a right to housing?
Yeah, we defend a right to housing, so we defend the plan text, but Segal and HLR indicate that normal means would be removing zoning regulations.
Okay, do you do anything else other than removing zoning regulations?
No.
Your only zoning regulations?
Well, yeah, that's our normal means evidence. Segal says that the right doesn't require us to build free housing. The only thing that it would require is to take economic rights approaches to improve affordability. Segal indicates that that is done through zoning reforms, and I think that's cross.
Okay. I'll send out the doc, orders 5 off case, on case it's theory stuff, affordability, SDGs.
Theory, affordability, SDGs. Cool.
Hey,
Actually, take running grab. I want to add something. And grab whatever. Sorry. I have 3 minutes 55 seconds left. It's the same doc. I decided against it. All good? First off, Canada and the United States also criminal zoning laws. Right to housing is more than just zoning. Hold them to their plan text. The only thing during cross-examination, Segal says it's only zoning. That is categorically false. I read yellow. Segal 2020. States have an obligation to provide housing assistance where needed. Dismantle municipal regulations not been discussed in the literature. Housing strategy should be rights-based, comprehensive, provide for access to remedies for violations are found. One essential element is focus on marginalized disadvantage, excluded groups. The solution seems to be increased construction of social housing, right control the assumption. Add states should simply allow markets to work is not in accordance with the right to adequate housing. And second off, the 50 states and all relevant territories ought to guarantee the right to housing. Sorry, I'll send out the real plan text afterwards. And it completes and solves better when I see governments about state and local governments. Join 2091. The statute definition of the United States only supports the federal government, and the United States means the federal government broad definition, which includes states with little sense. And counterplan solves better efficiency, present, and admin barriers. McDonald 22. The U.S. is not the necessary frameworks to implement a national RTE regulation with the income rules, Congress, and secrets of normal place to import high value and not legally by for the reduction of rights. There is a gap between standards and realities, long-term legal, formal, benefits, legal, government applicability, presented challenges, and government system build reforms, facing needing challenges, state legislation, provide a foundation for RTE without that intervention, states and provide a key role in housing, play a key role in housing, against their approach. The federal authorities can implement rights, based approaches, where the state constitution recognizes housing as a human rights, and constitution close out by the left, right, federal, national, easy to make it, just to provide membership, more effective framework, and also protection of housing rights, justified budget appropriations, applied allocation, improves access states, have incorporated also the laws of ability to succeed in housing rights and other advantages states could be administrative efficiency, where governments being so discriminatory and eligible individuals, often and homeless. And third off, court filings are decreasing now, especially real estate. Butler 314. Courts return to preventative operations, low strategic rate of filing sort file 18%, considerable 20, and criminal aid with the largest decrease in property. And plan overwhelms the courts with litigation. Millions of Americans are housing insecure. Walter 23. Right housing would lead to government investment not automatically legally good for our also traditional interpretation included by litigation. And court backlogs skill innovation, complexity, second order price, magnifying independently building government confidence, turn case, Skill et al. 2019. Backward produce investment in innovation by increasing business value annually and competitive behavior to lead backward produce GDP growth like 1% annually back to play. You reduce employment and growth, decrease payoff for R&D, reducing tech power, long way tapping in road government confidence in government office and individual rules that hire more capable almost and efficiency reduce what is the pollution rework and tax pay back from managing preventing fees to diverting and enable systems having intrinsic motivation tax and back policies design flexible and enable research creating process and more complex than needed mandating over record drive second order advice and systems alternatively doing human verifications. And diseases like the accidental bioterror accidents, future pandemics, innovation is key. Brennan Gordon 2020. Resilience is developed by developing countermeasures led by the U.S. COVID-19 pandemic, social pandemics, who never say every decade, synthetic biology, being fire natural, Affordability remains interacting as the committee to working together, so we're moving forward. We don't need any exceptions for the year. We're looking at November. Every farm bill is obligated to our work continue to reduce an effective bill. And the plan is divisive. Sucks up PC. Oh, and sucks up team. Housing and Rain Alliance of urban voters should for residents Republicans and real against real funds from New York, Health Department, increases to the North Party, Gulf Running, County Island, decline at Sheffield and Arizona, DC, holders of student hosting and student promotional night for opportunities and not getting players over because they just become more salient than ever was sideways. And it's also full of food crisis, domestic inequality, Euro 525. Ukraine has food insecurity around the world. The Irish for the leading the farm bill, the war trying to stick up the rent, enough cost from rich poor countries, the light, the real food and child food assistance, amateur trust abuse, diversity of commodity, talking with your about the chances of violence of 20 billion on camera coder, Ukraine, the farm bill, the U.S. can respond to the best of them, maybe Sam, future child, president for real, lives about destruction and all gains, building in Ukraine, more food, existing food insecurity, building in Ukraine, and more prominent, and extinction curve 22. Humans fought over food for 20,000 years, food and lands, station of private gardens, model on the summer, the civil, the government, the civil war, refugees, economic regions, civil war, harvest, food, beyond conflict in the future, Iran, nuclear war, fifth off. The United States ought to guarantee all rights outlined in the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights except for the right to housing. Case. First on the theory debate, one out of three so honorable and thrown debate that to prove that a specific violation outweighs any else that arrest for this theory got a crowd that substance education, use feasibility for entry, debatable default to community interest, and incentivize the racist talk to cause substance crowd out. Affordability. One, no solve the HLR 22 never even mentions zoning right to housing and purely doesn't loosen zoning restrictions. The LRSL 2020. French right to housing and restricted litigation meaning excessive time inadequate accommodation operational law further complicated mediation committees to determine eligibility and decide in the case of non-applicable trade include applicant the dying lord state failure to enforce resulted in a fine state effectively payments also as funding no offers or remedy to the individual clemency and pressure on the state to avoid yellow fraudulent in the housing is lacking safety so penalty cut the penalty and second the economy strong inflation is cooling but progress is still at risk Wallace 10.6 U.S. economy added 336,000 jobs last month, largest among the employment increase in shipping jobs across all major sectors in the world, where the economy for the middle out inflation coming down at the same time unemployment rate has studied the Federal Reserve as an invincible the economy hold on the labor market. And there's a sharp drop in housing prices kills consumer confidence and causes devastating recession for 22. A sharp reflection of consumer confidence and construction contributed economic recession drops in 1990 2007 corresponding with the recession failures. Prices fall the fall from lending on Jewish for domestic households see a fall payment for the wealth decline reduces confidence spend causes more people to trap negative equity and reported psychological impact on bubble rising expectations of recession 1980 1999 90 and 91 and 2008 during a period of falling home prices. And fourth recession cascades nuclear war Malva 21. A second temperature law from engage for global security coupled with global system neighborhoods one international level global prices of Ukraine, Europe, health and retail or entwined economic trust industry of geopolitical realignment with the US and China will be before the deadly workers and nuclear chemical plants with a surge in accidents if I count on truth the present century repeats the supplement effects of political wrong or US China confrontation where Taiwan was South Sea or Pearl Strait the Indo-Pak nuclear war and the nuclear confrontation between Iran and Russia. And 5 is that Nuremberg bills fail Myers and 8.5. Well, so Nuremberg laws are major costs of housing from home loan homes solved and don't do little to address the cost of construction financing and they don't have an immediate impact on the slow process of building homes and the policy reforms are necessary and increase housing supply. And 6 is so the structural environment is full around 2020. GDP slowdown was 2.3%, slowdown predates or rises instantly this fall fertility has a significant impact on the US baby boom market rose substantially as that received a sudden growth of workers age driven by extended access to college opening up with percentage of professions of women from goods services became efficiency share of expenditures fell to bring growth back destroy half our goods. Skip that. SDGs. 1. All causes international stability, dropping out of Paris, police detention, Saudi Arabia, human rights violation, Russia violation, Ukraine, all get rid of ISIS or affordability, and second, no sovereignty. Off-card say ratification is key, which they don't do, and third is the impact of sub. The ISIS has been around since the 1970s, the US has still hasn't signed it yet, or HDHR and D. The ISIS were entered into force on 1976, and 4 started them as zero impact, so says nothing, they haven't held before, don't get them. ISIS argues they didn't read and find SDGs or worse abuse of things, really 15. Nothing better reflects the decline of Western aid than SDGs, but SDGs was the use of that tool, which was to do risk contended with bureaucratic exercise of the SDGs are matter, but tap out on quantified target, everything is top between nothing is priority, they're on the table for targets, a critical one would be progress with a small one would be credibility, there are always opt out on commitments we volunteer, modified upon demand, and defer to each nation's priority, sustainable, and UN never finds it. Go back up. 7 still had Germany impact by 2020. The war remained peaceful while the US got forces around the 90s, fighting of environmental disability. Africa is more peaceful when we look to the US and cannot take credit as ability exists in many places which have Islamic 70th century rise, such as the US policymakers overestimated their own part of the country to factor independence institutional marketing norms seen towards to disappear. Cut the credit disappear. I'm ready for cross.
Okay. Status.
Conduct.
Okay, let's talk about this, the Farm Bill evidence. Or actually, wait, no, not Farm Bill. What is the internal link to solving disease for court plug?
Sort of enable solving court plug.
Wait, no, but like, I mean, what ends up solving disease? Like, is it innovation? Is it lockdowns?
Innovation.
Innovation. Okay, can you explain why court clog in housing courts uniquely hinders innovation?
A is that there's no such thing as housing courts. Our whole point is that those federal district courts that the affirmative sort of would be people to appeal to are are the same things that are sort of preventing the sort of core backlog. Our Spurlock Excel 2019 card is really good on this. It talks about how backlogs enable sort of anti-competitive behavior because it means when companies are doing stuff that's anti-competitive, like evergreening, for example, nobody is able to sue them since they can't get their case heard. B is that it hurts sort of the patent cases and IP cases, which are necessary in order to make investors feel secure that their investments in this sort of technology and R&D is going to get a return.
Okay, I guess going on to Farm Bill, if the bill expired on September 30th, why is it still on track to pass? Why does Congress still care about the bill?
Yeah, Murray 10.6 is really good on this. A, just because it expired on September 30th doesn't mean that all funds were sapped from it. It just means that it hasn't gotten the replenishing of funds it needs, and so they're still working on getting it passed, and we argue that it's going to get passed probably from November till December 31st is the time frame.
Okay, sure.
10.6
Let's talk about the second counter plan. How does it compete?
Of
The 50 states.
of U.S. federal government.
Wait, have you read any definitions indicated that the United States means federal government?
Laju 91.
Okay, sure.
Definition of United States only supports the federal government. United States means the federal government. Broad definition, which includes states, makes little sense.
Okay, sure. Let's talk about this fifth counter plan. This is only meant to solve the SDGs advantage, right? The United States not to guarantee all markets.
Sure, but we can make advantages arguments by itself affordability.
Okay, talking about affordability, can you explain this Taylor et al. 20 card? This seems to be talking about the French quote, enforceable right to housing. Firstly, what is an enforceable right to housing? Secondly, how does it apply to zoning?
Yeah, one is that we would say the France example is a prime example of what a right to housing would look like when implemented in the real world. We say that all the sort of things that you say it causes, like that it leads automatically to zoning reform, is wrong. You said normal means of zoning, and we've been saying we've read other normal means evidence that shows
What's that other normal means evidence?
It's a Taylor card that
wait.
says in France it didn't lead to zoning reform, and in fact did not actually do that much.
Okay, sure. Okay, I guess going on to the other arguments you read, can you explain this Pettinger warrant? Can you explain the warrant in Pettinger's why it kills consumer confidence?
Yeah, Pettinger 22 card is really good on this. It specifically talks about how when you have falling house prices, A, the market sort of goes into chaos, which is an internal link. B is that it hurts construction. Do you want me to explain the other links or not?
No, I'll take it. Pause prep 135 remaining.
shop. Second add it. It's the same name. It's just the cards are at the bottom. Okay, that should be in there, and then I'll give the order seconds ready.
Okay, so order is going to be like theory hedge, affordability, starting with innovation, then affordability proper, SDGs. The first off, the kind of like the ban zoning counter plan, the kind of like, I guess the fifth off, that ICER counter plan, the state's counter plan, the court club, or the politics D, and then the court club B.
So I'm getting that again.
Yeah, sure. So it's going to be the theory hedge, then the innovation stuff, affordability, SDGs, the first counter plan, the like ban zoning stuff, the fifth counter plan, which is like do all other rights, or then the second counter plan, which is states, and then politics, farm bill stuff, and then court law.
Cool, so it's ICER and then states?
Yeah, I said that's it. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Cool, okay.
Okay.
We want to go through, otherwise that could be infinitely abusive with no way to check back. Convert is already hard because 7 words 60 times here because of Ferdinand sinks in the dark. It's dropped their and competing in terms. Otherwise, the neck can infinitely upload with flippy defense into an arm, which wins an army and be second assistant to her. Can respond to terminal defense and offense. Innovation. The right to housing, a legal right to fulfill only through zoning forms. The primary gap in use of limitations of affordability, the courts will strike down restrictive zoning rules that hinder supply and affordability. For prior evidence on necessity to the U.S. France has different situation, has a different courts than the United States. Our evidence is specific in the context of the United States, saying that U.S. courts will strike down zoning regulation, removing zoning laws, enables dense construction, vital interest in use innovation like the Bay Area. That's means tech development along with outpaced planetary typicals that causing state to welfare and efficient advantage that lead to great power. Where this is conceded. The economy stuff. Economy strong now is wrong. One, it's about the job market. Two, it's aspirational. While everything else is just what the Fed hopes to happen. The oil rate and independently oil rates and 6 iron stimulus lead to a 60% chance of recession. Latest 920. Consensus 60% chance of after oil prices are near $100 per extended period. Possibly prices of the consumer miners are by feel highs are rolling over. Yes, capital cluster press profits leading to layoffs. Households cut back as numbers rise with the households bill balances placed over through this quarter. Assumption student loan payments cut to stretching income statement. Different side decline in spending and skip the next hard. Independently only we saw for we saw for the economy who dropped the Bowman card, which indicates that the plan would lead to a 10% increase in economic growth, by leading more people to be more productive spending and lead to better jobs and lead to a 60,000 wage increase. That also takes out Penninger, assuming the worst case scenario, which is a complete crash in housing prices in 2008, whereas our evidence indicates that it would just be a decline and it would lead to more affordable housing in cities. This would not be a widespread decline in Ergo 2008. Plus, yes, impact is logo. Oppenheimer is indicating a situation in which logo would lead to national supply from multi-land less cooperation as a decline in American power, which was every existential threat. And the impact isn't just hedge. The impact isn't just hedge, it's also nationalism and collapse of the LIO. And yes, hedge impact. Our evidence indicates that multipolarity leads to more proliferation and more allies using nuclear weapons on powers, and more countries like Russia are trying to invade. Concede defense on SDGs, the On the zoning template, permitted the template is just another form of being the app. Segal indicates that the app would result in abandoning the zoning laws. That this is just an alt definition. Segal has intent to define and indicates that while the special rapporteur had other definitions, the best definition in the context of the United States is just banning zoning, and it can't solve advantage to only the right to housing enables individual cities to pass zoning laws specific to their areas, which allows for best source of affordability. The next item, no, it only solves advantage when it can't solve the affordability advantage because it doesn't implement the right to housing. Permitted template 56. It can solve advantage when zoning for mostly state and federal charges 22. But he has a list of different portion like federal government, zoning, Colorado, Wyoming, California, Montana, Montana, available in the Metro, the Gulf, state portion within city boundaries, Las Vegas, along landlocked federal lands, Markhorn, and lands. It can permitted template. The United States, the federal, state, Garden, U.S. federal, Republican states, the United States means the federal government, or the 50 states, don't verify the term used. Maybe the sovereign or collective states permitted by the ideas, deals with link to politics because Biden can pass off federal actions of the state pressure. They can have a fake Mr. Biden and will he explained that in a chance of voter issue, the time scheme one air can range the best offense in multiple worlds of different unique conditions. Clash and engage this was all the permanent defense. The politics. It started on September 30th. The time frame is next year, and it won't pass new speakers, FCC, or PCs relevant for consent 10-4. Farm powder damage after housing movement, McCarthy bill, electricity bill, electricity. Well, last speaker, you can't do anything to get a 5-year bill. The House majority leaves electricity bill before McCarthy fights most money. Unfinished, we need functioning Congress and speaker. They get work done, and we get farm bill, market and farm bill. Internal link to the Murray's miscut. It says lawyers have their job to make progress good, not that it is effective. Insert and half the country is about one congressman's opinion with no word and miscut the evidence. It's a minority view insert and nobody has no PC. The economy is wide, will return to. He's only right PC pulling the white for 50% towards the agenda for the rest of his person facing polarization and rising prices, market prices on the core clock gate. Firstly, only we saw the impact. You can see the innovation advantage. Only people moving to cities allows them to collaborate with more innovative will solve for the impact. And core class non-eating gate around 7:13. Just shortages of calculates that shortages of staff calling. This is another 11 charges. Peter had this in with the car says he has sitting public insurance not the only statement. Also has a shortage of my car and shortages and cases a straight turn. Tar 21. Policy to 10 rather than housing to someone's city association. Policy to use the line to law enforcement and housing part more cheaply than in the cycle.
Mark card is cycling also now.
Cool.
It's in there. I just marked the cards with the
Okay. Let me just let it go fast. Awesome. Okay. 3 minutes and 55 seconds left of prep. Starting now. Only independent voter was conduct, right?
Yeah. Oh, oops. I think I sent the. Wait, let me. Sorry. I don't think I marked the cards on this doc. I'll send the doc that I did mark it on. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Marked up isn't there.
The only card you read on case was Levin's, right?
Yeah, the 60% chance of recession.
Cool.
Yeah. I skipped Harris.
Farmville Disad pick case on
The-
case, just affordability.
Wait, that last half was like the rights pick, right? The first half, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm good.
Cool. Can you say it one more time? ICER states court clog, farm bill, pick, affordability. Great.
Are there any new cards?
No.
Okay, I'm good.
Y'all good? On the ICER pick, I'm kicking it perms test competition on actual advocacy. States also kicking it perms test competition on actual advocacy. Condo. Counter interpretation, negative camera and conditional position preferred. A is negative flex, the absolute infinite premise, the 90s axle, possible strategy, compensate for the two structural advantage. B is negation theory, one would either reject the avocado is better or the status quo is better. C is reasonability for interpretable, you should default to the community difference. Instead of watch this theory, causal subject crowd, which I'll answer the theory debate here. They say that it's net worse, but no it isn't because subject crowd controls the internal link. They want us to have education, in which case because subject crowd is a stronger internal link to all of their, because the net impact of the final impact of their competing interest education and D's are heavily negative. Nutrient makes 3 debates impossible and negative, no to an solvable. They actually said in the 1IR, hold them to what they said. It was incomprehensible in literally 15 seconds, so don't give them access for arguments they literally did not make on their standards proper. One is reciprocity, FX got multiple access to the conduct through perms, king out advantages. Second is time to use inevitable means that their interest solves these marginal because A, some people talk fast from B, I can still run 10 distance, the one after straight turn, and 3 turn, being able to focus on self my arguments and my NR increase in class more than he get my worst one does is on avoiding its focus. The app should not get to win for B. Worst argument and 4 that it proves that the dispo proves that their own offense is non-unique. Teams never straight turn counterplans. Tables always put perms mean dispo is functionally condo, and 5 is that agent process counterplans can force perms, which means that dispo is functionally condo. And 6 is that dispo can't solve innovation or neg flex, but we need to be able to innovate it so we can just over here encouraged to do more topic research and learn more. Court clog. Conceding the non-unique that they're a judge and staff shortages means they get no offense because they don't make it, so there's magically more judges or staffs. But it's an independent reason why they don't solve their innovation argument, because they concede an internal link that says that IP and enabling and solving anti-competitive behavior is key to incentivize innovation, which means they can't solve. Farm bill. Conceding no PC, conceding non-unique. They don't have a Speaker of the House, which means there's no way it's getting passed, even if they increase Biden's PC. They didn't read Winners Win. Don't give it to them. The pick. I'm extending the pick. This is really good. A right to housing is more than just zoning, i.e. it includes things like social housing. Their Siegel 20 card, their own Siegel 20 card is really good on this. It says, quote, one essential element of the human rights approach is the focus on marginalized, disadvantaged, excluded groups. An approach that focuses only on marginalized identifies the problem of homelessness. When looking at these problem solutions, then seems to be increased construction of social housing, which seems to suggest that a right to housing is more than just allows for a judicial right that you can go to in court and argue with via the court, which the affirmative is only sort of this, and the affirmative is only about evidence about why zoning necessarily is key, which means any chance that the pick is smaller than the affirmative, hold them to their plan text. It's the only savable spaces for net ground. They say perm to both, and no, there's no perm because you don't do other parts of the right to housing, such as social housing. And second is they say perm to the counter plan, which you don't give it to them because their own Siegel 20 evidence that they use as the normal means evidence says that it's more there. See, they do a bunch of impact how Siegel is better. We completely agree Siegel is better. That's why we re-highlighted it and redefines right to housing as more than just zoning reform, which is exactly why you're negative. Then they say we can't solve advantage 2 because cities are important. A, it means that because we are re-highlighting their own A, there's no reason that we're not just we don't include the city because it's the entire U.S. federal government arguing for zoning reform across the board. And B is that there's no reason that the affirmative solves for cities too, because they're also the United States federal government. We are literally just doing what they claim their affirmative is doing, which means that there's a chance that the counterplan is smaller than the negative, smaller than the affirmative means it links to Econ disadlex, and you should vote a negative on sufficiency framing, especially since either way you can judge the counterplan disadlex outweighs case affordability. I'm extending the straight term. The economy is recovering right now, and real estate values are high and stable. Consumer confidence, housing prices, and construction are up, but killing housing prices and nullifies the demand for private development, which drastically lowers housing prices, lowers consumer confidence, kills private development, and depresses construction spending, triggering a massive recession. That goes nuclear, appears to economic insecurity, raises tensions globally, which escalates the flashpoints like Taiwan and the Baltics, which one outweighs a time frame. Even forbidding the link turns the link of the dishad is triggered first. Constructing 6 million houses taking decades to scale up. Our impacts immediate because it's all about the perception of falling house prices. Second is recession kills solvency, dramatic downturn in government revenue leads to cutbacks in the aftermath. Fiat doesn't solve. The government will just have to cut funding on other programs that are preventing a recession. I'll do them line by line here. 1, they say their evidence is bad, 2 bad. It postdates their evidence by a solid 2 weeks. Alice Wallace's evidence is suggests that there's no recession. It says inflation is decreasing right now, so it's not just aspirational. They're only looking at the last set of cards. Second, their 11th, 9, 20 evidence is really bad. A, it's just post-dated by all of our evidence, which proves that we're not having a recession. B, B is not about housing, which means that there's no ways for solve this. Say we increase growth and productivity, but A, it takes a while to sort of scale up the houses and make and build more houses versus we create the perception that it's just like 2008, even if you don't think the impact of the affirmative is going to be like 2008, because it's so such on the consumers' minds and consumers' hearts, and they're going to think it is, and that perception is what creates a recession. Recessions are psychological. They say our Pettinger scenario assumes worst-case scenario. Too bad they straight up dropped it. Our Pettinger 22 card is really good, and then says empirically lists all of these big recessions, 1980, 1991, and 2008 were all predicted by falling home prices, which means that we control the strongest internal link, and empirics flow heavily negative, especially since they're running very slow, low risk of any sort of offense. Our Myerson 8-5 card is really good and says that zoning takes a while to scale up. They straight up drop this. It says that zoning reform doesn't actually lead to increased housing immediately, which means that zoning reform doesn't lead to increased housing sort of immediately, which is an independent reason why they cannot solve enough, and the perception of the negative easily outweighs. I'm also extending our roll-off 20 card, which they also drop, which says that they're all causes to slow growth, which means A, you are heavily negative because they've been no sliding scale or no sort of brink for the slow growth impact, and it says that because the number of people we have are literally slowing because of the population slow, there's no way they can solve it. Our Fedways 20 evidence really answers their aviation scenario really well, because it says empirically when the U.S. has cut back military spending, literally nothing has happened.
It's going to be case, which is like, okay, wait, it's kind of like a weird order. So it's going to be innovation, then like the cord clog stuff about innovation, the pig, and then the econ, which is like not case sense, but yeah. Okay, is everybody? Why? Okay. You hard conceded the innovation links means 100% risk of offense. I was sent to here the right housing enables more people to move closer to cities and boost wages by $60,000, which allows for more cooperative collaboration between innovators and laborers and leads to more productivity, which is key to innovation. The impact is running every environmental tipping point that cascades citation that was Palmer, and it also puts existential AI power in the hands of revisionists. It means that revisionist countries gain more tech, which enables them to invade, and it leads to them gaining more self-perception of dominance, which makes innovation inevitable. There's outweighs on magnitude. We control the eternal link to every existential threat. Magnitude outweighs since we both agree extinction outweighs it. Just a question of who access to the most eternal link to extinction. And also outweighs on time period. Revisionist powers are getting AI power now. That was a conceded Corning 21 card. There's only risk of offense of us solving innovation because we lead to more U.S. dominance over the innovation to deter them to AI. The only answer to this is the kind of core clock argument, but that makes no sense. Firstly, the core clock argument is about disease innovation. You should hold the line. The 2.5 was really blippy about this and didn't actually explain why disease innovation is specifically related to other forms of innovation. 2, you dropped the link term, which is that the status quo housing criminalizes homelessness and leads to more core clock because it means
means that more homeless people go to courts. That was a charge zoning 1 card, which was conceded. It means there's a risk we saw for cold cog. Plus 3, our leak outweighs our magnitude. We leaked out 60,000 boosted product gates that lead to more people going to the inner cities, which allows us, which definitely leads to leak and it was a magnitude. Turnovers would leak B. This is not a sufficient argument to innovation. Hey. I'm going for the HLR deficit. You misunderstood the deficit. It's not saying that the half is done through the cities or done by the states. HLR says that a right to housing, when the federal government passes a right to housing, it enables individual cities to implement their own finance right to housing, i.e. the only thing the plan fiat is the right to housing done by the federal government, but the individual cities then gain access to make their own forms of affordability that would solve better. The only answer to this was that the half is about the federal government, but that's not what the deficit is saying. The deficit is saying that the only way to enable actually good zoning forms, which also solves for all the deficits they made on case, is for us to enable cities to make their own responses through passing a federal right to housing, which is the only stopping point, which is preventing them from doing it. This is deficit. The only response was like kind of states, but we are not states. This is sure judge cake, but Econ did. Major issue, the only answer to recession, non-unique, was that their evidence is old. Our evidence is old. Hold the line. They did not have a warrant as to why our evidence being 2 weeks older means you should suddenly throw it out of the debate. 2, prefer our evidence. Their evidence is about the labor market. Read it post round. The only thing it's saying is that there are 330,000 more jobs. Firstly, that doesn't mean the economy is doing good. We had low unemployment during COVID, but that did still led to a recession. 2, our evidence indicates that every metric, oil prices, stimulus, wage, interest rates, all causing recession now means their impact is terminally non-unique. I'll do that. They haven't identified a unique reason as to why the dates being different matters, or why 2 weeks is enough to spur it, which you hold the line on the 2 and I'm also saying it later, you conceded the advantage. Even if the growth is slow now, the Bowman card indicates that in the status quo we have slow growth of over 10%. There's only risk that zoning in the future cascades. I'll insert Petitor right here. Okay, look, top level. Innovation was conceded. We did weighing as to why it outweighs the magnitude. They didn't know weighing as to why it outweighs which means risk of innovation